Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. First off, it's Friday. I have to kind of talk semi-quietly because it's 3:30 in the morning. As you guys know, I do these are Robert's Thoughts episodes that are unedited. These are just my initial thoughts on the last episode of Wandavision. This is episode 9, the series finale. So first, I had to speak kind of quietly, so I apologize. I live with a lot of people, and they'd be really mad if I woke them up, so I'm trying to be kind of quiet here. So my apologies if that is detrimental to your audio experience. And second of all, I want to address a couple things. So, Disney Plus apparently had crashed for many people tonight. That is entirely a Disney Plus thing. In case you guys are curious, that is not a you problem. If that happened to you, it is nothing really to do with your internet or anything like that, and everything to do with they don't support enough bandwidth. So what I recommend, and the reason I'm okay with telling you this is because I only have like a few hundred people that watch my things occasionally. I have probably like 50 actual people who actually watch all my videos, or at least a good chunk of them. So instead of logging on at 3 o'clock, like, because I'm in America, right? I'm in Eastern time. So I went to watch it at like 2:30. It wasn't there. I waited 10 minutes. That's what I would recommend, is wait 10 minutes and try again. I actually started watching the episode at 2:50 in the morning. So that was really good for me because I got ahead of everybody else. So just a quick little thing, they do drop things early a lot, mainly so that they can try to get the bandwidth going. So if you had any problems with that, that is, something you could do is try watching a little bit earlier than the actual release date, and there's a good chance you'll be able to. Now, on to my thoughts of the episode. So this is a spoiler review. So there are spoilers in this episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, or you care about spoilers, don't watch this episode. Overall thoughts, I don't think it was as strong as many of the other episodes. Not to say that I think the episode was bad, it wasn't very fun, It felt very Marvel-y, where there was a lot of battles going on at the same time, and I think that they really experimented a lot with camera angles in this episode, in comparison to some previous episodes, so I actually did kind of enjoy the fresh new take on battle scenes here. But for the most part, it didn't really match the theme of most of the rest of the show. Most of the show has been more of a mystery show and more of a fun, whimsical show, and then we kind of take this really hard left turn into really hard action Marvel movie, which I kind of liked, but I also thought it was a little off pace, especially considering last episode, which a lot of people didn't like. I really liked it. I think it was really interesting and really fun, and a really interesting take on how to do a backstory episode. And that was a fun, awful, sure, like in terms of theme, but a fun episode nonetheless. And then we go and we do this, and it's a complete left turn. But essentially what happens is we see the White Vision against regular Vision, right? So first of all, we don't really know how White Vision entered the Hex. They never explain that at all. He just kind of shows up in there, and we're like, okay, whatever. I think I kind of understand, because he has the power to, like, phase in and out of things, so I think that might be it. But we're not entirely sure, I guess. And Vision is against Vision, and for a while, they are, put against each other, and then the Vision that was created in the Hex is like, hey, what's going on? And the White Vision's like, I have to destroy Vision, and he's like, but am I Vision? And they have this really cool conversation for a bit about what it is to be Vision. And they both decide that they're both the real Vision, and, the White Vision doesn't want to destroy himself. And then Vision helps hack into White Vision's brain, basically, and unlock all the previous memories from his past. So now White Vision has every memory from Vision, but he doesn't have the Mind Stone, right? And then White Vision leaves. That's like the Vision story. So the main issue that I had was they didn't address what happened to White Vision. I think it's safe to assume he's off by himself, but what we know is that at the end of the show, the Mind Stone came back out of Vision, went back into Wanda's body, right? But now we know that if she can put the Mind Stone part into Vision's body, which already has all the memories, then technically speaking, they could have Vision back, and I think we will see that happen, but I can't be too sure. Wanda's timeline is a little weird here in this episode too, because it picks up right after the previous episode when they're in the street and Agatha's got the kids in a lock hole with magic, and Agatha's like, I could just take your magic because you're the Scarlet Witch, and I could fix everything. And so Wanda, being very smart, after some weird battle sequences that didn't quite make sense, decided to build some runes on some walls. What I mean by that is, in the previous episode, Agatha had made runes on the walls, and when there are runes in a room, then the only person that can cast magic in the room is the person that cast the runes. So Wanda casts runes on the hex. So the only witch that can use her powers in the hex is Wanda. So that's how she basically destroys Agatha and is like, you're going to stay here forever, and then turns into a nosy neighbor. And then basically destroys the hex, which then, destroys Vision and destroys her kids, but the world is back together. Hayward is arrested, and Jimmy Woo is kind of taking more of a leadership position. And then we see, Monica Rambeau, and basically what happens there is we don't really see exactly how it works. I'll explain the end credit scene in a second. But that's basically the story for the last episode. I do think that the visual effects were a little off. I don't think they were quite as good as previous episodes. Even the easy stuff, or I guess it's not easy, but even the stuff that they've done well in the past wasn't very good here. Even just them walking, so we do get a comic book accurate costume for Wanda. It's at least closer than we've seen before. And when they're walking into the house the last time, if you watch, I'm sure people have noticed it, where when they turn back into their regular costumes, they twitch. It was dumb. The special effects were not up to par with what Marvel's normally good at. That being said, I understand because it's expensive to do 6 hours. It wasn't quite 6 hours the total runtime of the entire show. This was 50 minutes, and there were end credit scenes. There were 2 of them actually, which was nice. So, let's also talk about Evan Peters for a second. So, Quicksilver is in the show, as you guys know. The issue is that we don't know whether or not it was the one from the X-Men. We now, I think, are confirmed that it is not, and that he is just somebody who was turned into it, which means in a separate lifetime, in a different dimension, he was Quicksilver. But this one is not the Quicksilver. That's what I think I can assume from now on. We didn't get anything about the multiverse at all. Sort of. Let's go ahead and talk about the end credit scenes. The first one shows Monica Rambeau being called into the theater, goes into there, and then, she meets a Skrull, which if you guys don't remember, in Captain Marvel, we see that there are Skrulls that can shapeshift into people. So, one of the FBI agent Skrulls, it reveals herself as a Skrull to Monica, and is like, I heard you've been grounded. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, well, an old friend of your mom's would like to see you. And she's like, where? And she points to this guy. This can technically be 2 people. We know for a fact that Nick Fury is working with the Skrulls. We know for a fact, because of Spider-Man Far From Home. So, we can maybe think it's Nick Fury. My original thought was Nick Fury. But Monica Rambeau's mother, which I think her name was Maria, I don't remember, didn't really know Nick Fury very well, but knew Captain Marvel very well. So I'm leaning towards Captain Marvel, because that makes the most sense, because then Spectrum, Photon, Monica, whoever you want to call her, will then be in Captain Marvel 2, which I'm okay with, because I think that'd be a fun team-up. I don't really like Captain Marvel in general. I think this would definitely help the overall story arc. That was the first end credit scene, which I was not happy with because I was waiting for more. By the way, at the end of the actual episode, before the end credit scene, all we see is basically Scarlet Witch, Wanda just fly away, which kind of felt dumb. It felt like a very not a very great ending. The final end credit scene gives us a little bit more to play with. We see that Wanda has settled down in a very, very rural area. Rural or urban, I don't remember which one. Alright, so I don't remember which one represents which place, but in a very woodsy area. So she's very isolated and by herself, and she's making tea, but her witch part of her, which apparently she can now separate, is in the kitchen reading the Darkhold, which, by the way, I don't believe is the same Darkhold as the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Darkhold, which either means that there's two Darkholds or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is retconned. I think there's just two Darkholds, because I think this one's from Doctor Strange, whereas the other one is just an actual relic book. Because they don't have the same powers. The other one, you can read and understand whatever you want in a different language. This one teaches dark mystic arts. So while Wanda's reading the Darkhold, she hears the cries of her sons, which I think shows multiverse, because her kids are technically still alive in a different timeline, right? So I think that's how it leads to Doctor Strange. It's possible that Wanda goes to Stephen Strange and is like, hey, I want to go save my kids, and then they go into a multiverse and figure that out. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to speculate too much on it, because I don't really know much about it. Nobody knows too much about it at this point. All we know is it's called Into the Multiverse of Madness, and that's how we know there's a multiverse. But this show did not, I think, in any way, shape, or form, help show what the multiverse is going to be like in Marvel, which I think is both smart and annoying. But that's really the end of the episode. I wasn't really happy about it. To be fair, we have to put it in perspective, right? Like, we have all these really cool, crazy fan theories like Mephisto and Nightmare, which, don't get me wrong, are still technically possible. I don't think they are, mainly because Mephisto can't be sold in China because it's a devil. And by the end of this episode, we were able to see that Agnes had her own reason to be evil, right? She wanted to take the power from Scarlet Witch. So I actually don't think we'll see Mephisto. Maybe Nightmare, because Into the Multiverse of Madness is a horror movie. I think it's possible we see Nightmare as the bad guy there. But I'm more excited to see Mordo again. I hope he's there. But overall, I was kind of underwhelmed in general with the episode. There were no surprises. It all kind of felt in line with what I would have expected with the end of the Marvel show. I predicted this recently. I didn't publicize it because my recent video, I was like, maybe we could still see Fantastic Four. Maybe we'll still see Doctor Strange. But recently, I've been kind of let down. I almost didn't even care to get up this early to watch it. I think I will do this for all the finales. Leading up to the finale, I won't do this because it's exhausting, but I will do it for finales. But I think overall, I was underwhelmed. I think it was a good show overall. I will hopefully be releasing a show review on the season soon. Me and my buddy Julian are going to do it, so look forward to that. I'm going to try using Skype instead, which seems to have slightly better audio and visual collaboration. So I'm going to try to do that this time. I think you should look forward to that over the weekend. Hopefully I'll film it on Saturday, edit it, and get it up by Sunday, I think is my plan, but we'll see how it goes. But I think it's going to do it for me today, because it's not a grade, it's just my thoughts. Again, underwhelmed, but I understand, and I think it's a good ending to the show. And obviously it's never going to live up to our expectations. And I'm very excited for the Falcon Winter Soldier, so make sure you guys are looking forward to that. Next week, in case you guys are curious, we have a Marvel Assembled episode, which is behind the scenes, basically. I will be watching it, but not reviewing it, because it's more of a documentary style, and I don't review documentaries, so that's dumb. That's like reviewing history. So I think I'll watch it. I know I'm going to watch it, but I'm not going to review it. So look forward to that on Friday, and then on the 19th we start Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I will be releasing weekly episodes on that. There are only 6 episodes, so in about 7 weeks I'll be up at 3:30 in the morning again watching something for you guys. I'm releasing this before I go to sleep again. Today I think my plan is to watch Crisis and Boss Level. So Boss Level is available on Hulu. It came out today, and Crisis has been out for a week, but it's only been available in theaters, and now it's available on streaming if you rent and buy a ticket for $7, which I'm going to do. So hopefully I'll get those reviews to you out today as well. I have a video coming out today. I think it's Pay It Forward, but I don't remember. But that'll be out later. But this, you'll probably see both of them at the same time, because it's 4 a.m., so none of you are probably awake. But I'm going to go ahead and start uploading this so I can go to sleep. But as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.